The statements, views, and opinions contained in this program are those of the individuals and not endorsed, nor do they necessarily reflect the opinions of Rosenbaum Communications and its sponsors.
Welcome to BluegrassHighSchoolSports.com and FayetteCountySchoolSports.com.
Welcome to the new place for local and regional high school sports talk and analysis in Central Kentucky. And thanks to our great sponsors, Jack Burford Chevrolet in Richmond, off the EKU bypass. Visit them online at jackburford.com. Express Roofing, they have you covered. Visit them online at expressroofing.net. Set up your free estimate now. Now, back to the show. This program is sponsored by Cumberland Valley National Bank and Trust. Visit their new location in Berea.
Welcome back to BluegrassHighSchoolSports.com and FayetteCountySchoolSports.com. I want to introduce some very special men to you. Actually, let's just have them turn around and introduce themselves to you. And in this corner,
Larry Frakes.
and in the middle,
Doug Sally.
and on the end, saving the best for last,
Donald Foster.
guys, it would not go unnoticed if we did not talk about high school football championships. So Don, let's go with that first.
High school championships were, about a month ago?
Yeah.
Larry, you have the championship winners. Run them through real quick. Who won?
On Friday, December the 5th, DeSales beat Newport Central Catholic 26-0. Belfry beat Central 14-7, and Pulaski County, your choice to win it all, beat Graves County 14-7. On the 6th, and I guess the weather was horrible down there the whole time.
It rained all weekend, they say.
Yeah, Mayfield beat Williamsburg 28-27 in the 1A. In the 4A, Highlands beat Owensboro 49-21, and Highlands was down 42-21 at halftime and came back and won 49-42. And then Trinity beat Dixie Heights 47-14, and we had Scott County going all the way to that game, and obviously they lost a round or two before they got
lost
to that
the second round. But you know, the names you mentioned, all powerhouses, traditional powerhouses. You had Highlands, you got Trinity, Belfry's coming along, Mayfield. As you said though, Pulaski County, the first championship for Pulaski County in a 5A title. And we always do a top 10 of the region, of our local schools. And well, they're number one for the final week. Final poll, I have them at number one. They went 13-2, and they win a 5A title.
You predicted that early on too, didn't
They
you?
beat a very good Southwestern team. Madison Southern, who was going to be their biggest rival, well, we all know Damien got hurt. So that kind of took the fire out of Madison Southern. My number 2 team was Lexington Catholic. They finished the season at 10-4. They were the runner-up in the region in Class 4A. You know, Catholic played well. They beat Boyle County on the way in the 4A tournament. You know, Catholic was one of those teams that started off slow. They lost 3 in a row early. Then they beat Madison Central. It was 46-41, which surprised a lot of people. Central was young and only won that game by 4 or 5 points. You know, people thought Catholic was going to be a wash, weren't going to be very good, and they ended up going all the way to the regional runner-up. Number 3 is Scott County, 10-2. I thought, sure, Scott County was going to go all the way. I really did. I thought Scott County could really make a run. I think me and you saw Scott when they played Central. Mm-hmm. They had, 2 running backs that could flat out run?
They were just so sharp. I mean, their offense was pretty snappy. They were on time, and it was fun to watch them. Even though we got beat, they beat Central pretty good, and that's where we saw them. But, I mean, they just handled everything so well, and it was just their rhythm was good, the offense was good, and it was really fun to watch them. And I thought they were going to be the team to beat as well, even though they lost one of their main receivers early in the season. They battled through that part.
But they were 10-1 going to playoffs. Clay McKee is the quarterback, coach's son, and they just ran the ball extremely well.
I saw where he signed at Georgetown too.
I was about to say he's going to play at the next level. I hadn't heard where he signed at yet. Number 4, I have Boyle County, 11-2 on the season. Quarters, they went to the quarters in 4A. They lost to Lexington Catholic by 5 points.
That was their first loss of the season. That was the turning point for Lexington Catholic.
It was. They beat Catholic early in the season, and Catholic got them in the playoffs. We saw Boyle County play Madison Southern. and they just laid it to Madison Southern. Again, Southern did not have Harris, which is a big thing. Yeah. But Boyle County looked extremely impressive in that final game of the season against Madison Southern.
I think both teams kind of took some key players out after halftime.
Well,
they were, worried about playoff injuries.
Seeding was done. That game was out of district, so Southern knew they were a 3 seed. They were a 1 seed over their Bowl, so they didn't play much. And you could tell that game because it was an ugly game and
it was bad.
It was really bad. Number 5, I have Frankfort, 10-3. I believe they're a Class A school. They went to the quarterfinals in Class A. Little Frankfort gets no talk about, but they went 10-3, and they're not a bad little ball club in Class A. They're moving up. They've been consistent now for 2 or 3 seasons, I believe. So Frankfort's a team to watch every year, year in, year out in Class A. 6, Anderson County, 9-4. Quarterfinals of 5A, which is the final 8 in the tournament.
Now Anderson County is going to be in the new district alignment with Madison Southern next year, along with Montgomery and Woodford. Is that correct?
I believe so. I said they're getting ready to redistrict, so it's going to be a whole new ball game next year. But Anderson County finishes at 9-4, had a good season. We'll see what they do next year in all the new districts. Number 7, Southwestern, 10-3. They went to the quarters in 5A. Our buddy Chad Tate picked them to make a run. I didn't think Southwestern was going to be that good, and shout out to Chad on getting it right. Larry French left Boyle County, went down there, and he had them rolling. They lost by 7 to Pulaski County in the quarterfinals. A couple plays, they might have been the state champ instead of Pulaski County. So number 8, I have Bourbon County, 9-4, quarters in 3A. Bourbon County just been really good over the last few years. It's hard for us to know some of these teams. I mean, we don't see Bourbon County play. We don't see Frankfort. We don't really see a lot of these teams. But, you have to go what you read, what people tell you, and so on. So, Bourbon County, 9-4. I like them at number 8. Number 9, I had Franklin County. They finished 8-3. They were knocked out in the second round in 5A. Franklin I thought was going to be a lot better. I talked to their coach via email before the season, and he's really excited about everything, and a couple of things must go wrong, a couple of bad plays, and you get upset, and that's what happened to them. Number 10, Garrett County, 9-3 on the season, second round in 3A. Garrett County caught my attention late in the season. They really started off pretty strong, and then they lost at the end of the year, lost them 1 or 2, and then upset in the second round in 3A. So I have them at number 10, and that is my final top 10 of the season.
So while we're talking about football, we've got a couple of guys that we do need to talk about. One especially being Damien Harris. Let's talk about him and your all's predictions. It's getting close to the deadline on when he said he was going to pick. I know he said mid-December. We're past that date.
January 9th.
So now he's pushed it back to January 9th. So what do you think?
Before we get to Damien, let's talk about Drake Jackson, center at Woodford County. He's the number 1 center guard in the country by some of their scouting services. He made his choice just the other day. He has picked UK. Mm-hmm. So for center offensive linemen, they get no love in football. They do all the dirty work, and Damien Harris and the quarterbacks and running backs, they get all the glory. But without the Drake Jacksons of the world, you're not going to be very good. And Kentucky is tickled to death to get him. Yeah. He's a big pickup for them.
Well, him and Damien have been on Twitter talking to each other.
And,
so.
They went to the camps together. Drake has gone down to Tennessee and Kentucky and Ohio State camps, much like Damien has. So, one thing Drake said, he's not going to let these in-state prospects get away. He said he's going to recruit hard. Now, to Damien Harris, the Mass Southern running back, who was out for 6 games.
4, I think.
Was it
only
only
4 games? Yeah.
Okay, 4 games.
Missed 4 games with a knee
playoffs.
injury.
And he didn't play it in the second half of the playoff game, which the game was out of reach. But he's going to announce January 9th. He's got it down to 5 officially, but there's only 3 schools that most people believe he's talking about. You have Alabama, Ohio State, and Kentucky. Mm-hmm. So he's 99% sure where he's going is what I've been told by a couple of people in the journalists and
unnamed sources.
I'll use unnamed sources. There you go. I'll protect my unnamed source. But it said he's 99% sure, so.
Would you have ever thought,
we can speculate,
2 years ago, that Kentucky would have even been in the same sentence of a recruit as Ohio State?
There you go.
I mean, Would you have ever thought that?
Well, when they started getting people, out of Ohio and Texas or Florida and different parts of the country, immediately, I mean, it was good for them to win somebody from Miami of Ohio. Or,
When they got a 4-star recruit, it was a big deal for Kentucky.
Absolutely.
3-star
Yes.
recruit's what they got.
So them to be getting some of the players that they're getting now is just absolutely fantastic. But that's, that goes to Stoops and his vision and what he's doing up there. And hopefully he'll have time to get everything going right.
One thing he's done, I think, is he's built his assistant coaches, his staff, from different areas of the country. And they all have their inside connections with different coaches or different schools. And that's why they've been able to pull so many people out of Ohio and some of these other areas. And that's something that Kentucky's not been able to do in the past, is recruit these certain areas that now they're getting
It's
into.
been a long time since Kentucky's been able to recruit the big name star. Their biggest name was probably Tim Couch in the late 90s.
Yeah.
Another thing, too, overlooked is on football coaching staff. Damien, Drake Jackson, I tell you, he's really close to the offensive line coach. Your position coaches are the ones that are mainly your recruiters, of course.
Well, that's how Damien wound up falling out of favor with Michigan, was when the changes came about.
right.
So,
And
Well, that's
he
who
likes
they're gonna
Chad
be
Johnson
there,
or Chad Jackson
Well,
now.
when Neil Brown
Should
took
be
the
that
Troy
way.
job,
That's right.
they were asking Damien, is this going to affect you
Yeah.
and your relationship with Kentucky? And he said, no, really not. I am still close to 3 or 4 of the assistant
his
coaches.
position
up at
coaches, I
UK,
believe.
so that really
So-
didn't seem to hurt.
No. It does hurt some, because if you bring in a guy who's just going to open it up and throw it every down, a running back may not want to go there. But what I know about the new OC, he's going to be balanced, I believe. So it really makes no difference to him, I don't believe.
I
So
think last year they threw 523
yeah, they were
times and ran 489.
they were
So,
a
I mean, it
top
was
9
fairly,
school
yeah,
in
it
office
was-
or whatever.
Yeah.
So with him down to 3 schools, if it's Alabama, Ohio State, Kentucky, what do you think? If them are his 3 finalists, where's he go?
Well, Ohio State went and signed another running back that was pretty
That's
good
what I was
already.
gonna say.
So
They've got a top
I'm gonna
running
take
back.
them out of the loop.
If it's down to
Alabama, all the lore, all
I
the
tell you what.
pub, and the name and the reputation be a great place to go. But he's going to have to wait to play. He could go down there and start right away, but I really can't see him being a factor for a year or so down there. And those guys, I mean, they work. You can't go down there and just jack around for 2 years either. You got to go down there and participate day in and day out, and be ready to go. But he wouldn't probably be a starter immediately. And at UK, he can probably make an immediate impact in the SEC if he's healthy. He catches on to the offense. And for what I was under the impression of is that he may graduate high school this time of year.
I've heard that he's going to graduate early, enroll in the spring, and be able to play spring ball.
And I think that would truly, I think that all of the things that UK has to offer would suit him if that's where he wants to go. And like I've said on here many times, I just want him to pick a place where he can get the education he wants, because he already knows that an injury at any time, on any type of a situation, the big career could be in jeopardy. So the education is so important, and wherever he can get the degree that he's after, and like I say, I'd love for him to be win a Nobel Peace Prize or something in the future. I just want him to really get an education. I can't stress that enough. There's only, the best of the best make it at the highest level and make that money.
But it's
And
important for his future.
Absolutely, the education just has to be there. And and I've asked to, I'd like to be the first person to interview him once he declares.
Yeah.
Just so I'd like to see what he picked it for. And I'd love for him to say, well, they graduate 89.9% of the guys, or have some real depth into it, other than I'm ready to hit the field running. Which all of it has something to do with it. But he's just a good kid. He seems well rounded. I can see those answers coming.
Yeah.
But, so obviously for me, and being a UK fan and being from right here, I'd love for him to go up there. But I have no idea. I mean, I see all kinds of different tweets and different pictures. And, I'm glad he's able to enjoy this experience of being recruited by all these places. I mean, what a great feeling. I think he takes one of his buddies with him sometimes when he goes. And I've been on some of those trips before, back when I was a little younger, and you do get treated pretty nicely. You do have a pretty good time when you go, and there's a lot of memories being made regardless of where he chooses. So.
Plus, he's close friends with a lot of the top recruits in the country. So, I wonder if that'll have much of a bearing if one of his buddies goes here, buddy goes there.
I don't know why. I mean, I would think that it would.
You hear that a lot from the recruits now.
Yeah.
They try to recruit each other to go with them, but
Well, I know that, any place you go and visit, the players that are there, they're actively
they wine and
recruiting.
dine to
They're
go there.
really, really pushing hard, and Damien, no doubt, has developed relationships at whatever school that he's visited.
The thing I like about, the one thing about Damien in Kentucky, he's been there 14 times this already. All the football games, he's been to a lot of basketball. He's very close to a lot of people over there. And of course, Dominique Hawkins from Richmond is playing for UK basketball. So he's got a lot of friends already at UK.
And he's not too far away.
And
I mean,
that's right.
he can still be, and he handled all of that very well. And he might, somebody mentioned earlier that, he might have been up, trying to figure out why we were trying to assume where he was going when he really didn't know himself when we'd done this show in the past. So, but he's handled all that real well. He does, he goes right along with the flow. And at those UK games, unless you see pictures of him, you don't know he's there. He's not making a scene. Yes. He's not trying to be the big man, but he's just having fun and being himself.
Bottom line is, too, I think, you're dealing with a 17, 18-year-old young man, and things change sometimes very rapidly. And, I was watching a 30-30 on Sam Bowie one time, and he made the comment, when he came in to announce where he was going to go to school, he came into the press conference not knowing for sure what he was going to say. I mean, you're talking with a young adult here that's got a major decision, and there's a lot of pressure. So, to speculate is really hard.
That's the thing. If he does say he picked EKU and you're not happy at this school, if you want to leave, it's a year of your college career. So you have to be sure you want to go to Kentucky or Ohio State or Alabama or A&M or Florida. Because if you leave, that is a year of your high school or college career out. You have to sit out a year and transfer. So it's got to be tough.
Well, the main thing is pick for the education,
That's the main
and then
thing.
pick for the playing time. If you go about it the other way, and
many-
a lot of people do.
How many kids play high school football? How many kids get to play college football? And how many of those guys are going to the NFL? Even as a five-star recruit, I looked it up. It's 50-50 if you're lucky to have a shot at the NFL. There's a lot of kids who, for whatever reason, don't advance past college. So you really have to be sure you want to get the education first.
So, and he's winning all kinds of awards too. He just won the other award.
He won a Paul Hornung Award, which is for the best player in high school football.
And do you think he's going to win the?
He's a finalist for Mr. Football.
Yeah. You think he'll win it?
Honestly, I do.
Yeah.
I didn't think so beforehand, but I seen another running back who's up for the award in a full season. This young player got 24 touchdowns. Damien in half a season got 23.
Yeah.
So. It's a, is it, Mr. Football is supposed to be a career 4-year job, or is it a 1-year thing?
What's the
criteria on it?
What's the player that is the quarterback that is signed for Purdue?
After Elijah Sinclair.
I think
at
that would be his main
He
competition.
is the main competition.
Yeah.
He broke the touchdown record, I think, or the passing yardage record. So I think it's between them two. Honestly, I really do. And
If they don't penalize Damien for being hurt, I think he's really got a good shot.
But his numbers, he almost got 1,000 yards, I believe, this year. And he played 6 games.
He had 1,474 yards and 23 touchdowns in 7 games.
In this season. And one of those games against Rockcastle we done for Madison County School Sports Television got called at halftime due to lightning. So he missed half of a game.
Yeah.
So he really played 5.5 games because he missed a half.
Yeah.
Them numbers are just unbelievable.
Nice and wet.
Unbelievable.
Now listen, before we move into basketball, we're going to take a quick break. We got to get our sponsors in there. We're at Jack Burford Chevrolet today doing this regional sports show. So we want to thank them. Every time we do a show, we just take up a different area, don't we? We're in the conference room today. So we want to thank them for allowing all this wonderful technology we got going on behind us. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
This program is sponsored by Cumberland Valley National Bank and Trust. Visit their new location in Berea